Hello and welcome back to 7 Days Battles from Worthington Games. We're playing the Beaver Dam Creek, and Gaines Mills scenarios together. This is the second video in my series on this, and this one I'm actually going to highlight the overnight turns. Those went pretty quick, and give you an idea of what's going on with that, as well as show you some of the details of the of my play, my modified play, I should say, because I have modified this a little bit to be a little bit more in line with solo play and some of the tactical things that I'd like to achieve with this here as well. So that's what we'll hopefully project with this particular video. So let's start off first where we left off here. The night turns over here, 12, 13, 14, really are just maneuvering turns because you really can't have too much combat. Only units that are adjacent to each other can have some combat. So there's a little bit over here with units that were left over from the attack here on the mill, still side by side. So the Longstreet fought with them a little bit here, but most of it was maneuvering, as you can see. The lines have kind of reformed a little bit, where you've got Longstreet over here holding the flank, abutting to the marshy creek of the Chickahominy Creek over here, as well as the Beaver Dam Creek over here, and he's going to be pushing this way as part of the 27th turns. Then we've got D.H. Hill coming up into the center line here, shifting out A.P. Hill, which I'll talk about here in a minute, and you'll see Lee is actually moving up here to support them as well. And then Hill, you can see, has started flanking out this way to try to get around, because the Union right flank, Confederate left flank, is the one with the most opportunity for the Confederates to attack with. So they've pushed them out, which has forced Morrell here and McCall to pull back. Sykes's units here are kind of in a holding position, kind of spread out here. They will fall back probably to the woods, because the woods will gives the best defensive positioning for the game itself. These little streams here really don't matter. Roads allow for some accelerated movement, but the real defensive terrain is the woods and the marsh hexes over here. So they're pulling back to the woods, as we've already started. Try to block Hill from attacking over here, because we are going to get over on this side, we're going to get a couple things coming from this route. We're going to get the Confederate cavalry under Stuart, and then we're going to get Jackson up here. I think, am I pointing? No, slightly off camera, but that's okay. You'll see it later. Up here will be coming in. So they've got to kind of protect that, as well as figure out a way to defend back over in here once things get moving over there. So that's why there's a bit of maneuvering with it, which I think is that's what I like, and that's what I'm trying to achieve with the game, is more of a maneuvering capability to get around rather than a pound away at each other, although they will be pounding away at each other, but it's more of the maneuvering and getting around to get to the victory hexes beyond on the Gaines Mill map. Once we get over to that map, I'll show you more of the victory hexes with that. We're still not quite there yet. We're going to probably have some morning action with the Confederates continuing with Hill to push around over this way, and D.H. Hill will push, and Longstreet will push up here as well to kind of keep pushing them back. But for the Union, they're going to be doing kind of a fighting retreat, stopping or slowing as much as possible the action over there. So that's what's kind of happened overnight. Oh, the one last thing I should mention overnight, they did recover stragglers. Roughly, Confederates recovered about 10 steps for stragglers, and the Union recovered 8 steps for stragglers on there. So a few more units back in little better shape, but we still should start to see some reduced units probably in this set of turns, because we do have a number of turns. We start here at 5 a.m. On the 27th and go right to 8 p.m. on the 27th. So there's going to be 15 turns, but they'll play pretty quick, as you'll see here in a few minutes here. So that's kind of where we stand, and that's what I'll be playing through next with this. Now I'm going to play through the 5 a.m. turn to show you my modifications for this, and I'm going to talk about them here a little bit first before I actually get into the play. And hopefully they're not too intrusive from what the base game is, but I wanted to create a little bit more maneuver, a little less, pounding at each other type of game than what was originally there. The original one is good. I didn't mind that. Like I said, it's very simple, very easy. I like that about this. It hits that tactical level with the maneuvering of the divisions and the brigades within the division. But I wanted just a little bit more, and particularly for solo, I wanted a little bit more as well. So one of the first things I did is, instead of an I go, you go type of system here, I adjusted this ever so slightly to have a semi-chit draw environment. The way I did that was this. All of the leader units, like Longstreet and DH and AP Hill, McCall, Porter, etc., Lee, these now become chits. And I take these each turn and I actually put them into a cup, and they will be pulled for the order, or the sequence of play for that particular turn. So it becomes essentially a chit pull system. So let's get McCall over here. Porter's over here as well. Morrell and Sykes. Where is they? There's over there. Okay. But everything else about the sequence of play is going to remain the same within the chit pull system. So, for instance, I put all the chits in here, shaking up with it, and I'm going to pull one for the 5 a.m. turn. And the first one's going to be Porter. Okay. So what that's going to do is activate all of Porter's units, which in this case is going to be the 2 artilleries. He did have Breeden's sharpshooters here, but they got destroyed over here. So he's just down to these 2 units. Now with these units, at this point the sequence of play comes back into effect. So I go through and we've got the potential artillery attacks, and then the movement, and then the offensive and defensive, or defensive and offensive attacks for the turn. So those all stay the same. So in this case, with Porter, he's got these 2 artillery units over here. Those are the ones that can activate. Now, with that, they can move, or they can fire within the turn. I think within this one, keeping it simple, he is going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's going to be blocked, so he can't take a shot, and they're out of range. So they can't take a shot, but this guy can take a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he can take a artillery shot, this is the same as what's in the base rules, which we have right here, which is the offensive artillery phase. That's the name I'm looking for in there. So he could take an offensive artillery shot, and he could potentially attack somebody within his line of sight. Now they can shoot over units, okay? With this, as long as we're not adjacent, so he can shoot over to there. So he could take a shot, which we'll do. He's an 8, and the combat system has not changed over here at all. So he's going to be an 8. He's going to be firing at Longstreet prior, under Longstreet's command, I should say. And he'll be on the 8 column. I'm going to roll both dice. I'll tell you why I do that here in a second. Roll a 2 on the 8 is going to be nothing. Now I rolled the red one because that would be any morale check. If he did take a loss, then that 9 would be his morale check. So that's why I rolled 2 of them there. So that's one minor change that I did. Now, he also still becomes fired, meaning that he can't fire again or move or do anything else. And the other thing I've made a slight change for is that the move fires as well as the routes come out after all of the headquarter chits have been played. So rather than do it with the units themselves, they actually happen at the end, and you'll see that as well as we roll along. So that's the offensive fire. Next comes the movement. Of course, he can't move now. He could potentially move, but I think he's in good position, so we'll just leave him right there, and we'll go on to the next ship. So, pretty quick stuff here. Next one is morale. So morale's units are over here. Now, one other thing, just to be very specific, when you're placing, because the headquarters will go on a unit, so you can place him on any one of his units, but this allows you to keep units within command a little bit easier. So I can place him over here, and that will get all of Morel's units in command. But the one thing that you got to be careful, one thing I've changed as well and be careful about is that once he's placed, he stays with that unit. So if they attack or retreat, he stays with them, and he can't jump around because that's where he's positioning himself for this particular hour of the battle. So he's positioned here, has everybody in command. So now the question is, what are they going to do? So first off, we take a look at our artillery. And now our artillery is not in a position to fire because Morel's is limbered. So that's okay. He'll probably be moving anyways because I think he's going to have to settle back here a little bit to try to blunt Hill's advance over here. So Morel's going to be lucky because he can try to get in front of Hill a little bit. And I think what we're going to do, we've got Meade down here. Hopefully that's on camera. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of a technical hiccup there with the camera. But basically I've moved Morel. Artillery's moved here. Butterfield has moved back here. And Martindale has moved up to attack Pender up here. So this is what I want to show next is the attacking. So first off, we have them moved up here. We get defensive fire from Pender. He is 16. So he's going to be in the 16 column, but he's firing into woods, so he's going to get a -2. So 16 -2. Rolls a 1. -2 is 0, so that's no effect. So he doesn't hit him. Now let's see what Martindale does. He's an 18 on the 18 column. And he'll get a -2 for the woods. So he rolls an 8 and a 2. Sorry, that's in the bad lighting there. So he goes down to 6 on the 18. It's a 1 hit. So he loses 1 unit, or 1 step. 1 strength point, I should say. And the morale is, he does do a morale check as a 2. So he is in good shape. So he doesn't go anywhere. So he's done. So that's all the combat. Very simple combat. You just look at the charts, line it up, subtract, and then see about if they have a morale check, which is just basically a retreat. And that's what's, I should highlight that too as well. That's what's a little bit different. I mentioned before that this is a lot like blue and the gray, where you have a very simple chart, and then it's kind of a push-pull type of approach with blue and gray. This is a little bit different. You do have that same push-pull with retreats, but it's either a retreat that happens with a failed morale check, or it's a rout, that's these R's down here, which is an automatic retreat, which pushes them. But you're more than likely going to get some sort of step loss like we saw here, and that actually reduces and provides victory points back over on our victory point chart over here. So it does provide something. But really, to get the units out of victory hexes and things like that, you do need to kind of push them out because you do have such high strength points. 19, 25, 22, 24. So it takes a lot to reduce them because you're only reducing them by, usually 1, maybe 2, 3 if you're lucky, and there is a 4 if you're extremely lucky to, to get them reduced. But you're not going to wipe out a unit in one attack. It's going to take several, even if you're going against like a 22 unit, getting rid of 2 steps at a time is going to take 10 turns to actually destroy them completely, which is pretty hard. But it does accumulate victory points on there. So it's an interesting little twist in terms of the attacking and the combat in here that makes it quite interesting, for this. So let's move on to the next one. Next one's going to be AP Hill. All right, so he gets his counterattack. So let's take a look at this here. We've got Hill. I want to make sure that I get him all in range. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have somebody out of command, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, he's going to be out of command. I think I've got to place him there. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to place him there. He's going to counterattack, but this is now going to place some guys out of command. His command range is only 4, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. He's in command. All of these guys are in command, but he is not. And all of out of command means is that he can't move adjacent, can't move into the zone of control of an enemy unit. And he's out of command because that's out of AP Hill. But they can still move and they can still maneuver to get back in command, but they won't be attacking. So now we've got artillery over here, Hill's artillery, but they are moving, they're limbered, so they won't be able to fire. So we'll go straight to movement. I think what we'll do, AP Hill is here. I think we'll bring Greg 1, 2, 3. Bring him down behind and try to catch over in here. Meanwhile, we'll bring up Field to there. They've got a movement of 6, so plenty of movement here. And then for the artillery, I think I'm just going to deploy them there for 2. And then yeah, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Go after his artillery there, and then we'll move the out of command guys. 1, 2, 4, and then he's going to go. Actually, 1, 2, 2, 3. Now, when they're out of 1, 2, 3, 4, when they're out of range of enemy units, they can go into kind of road march. So he goes 1, 2, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. Yeah, move them up like that. All right, I think that'll do the trick. So now we'll have some attacks. All these guys are attacking, and I just put these blocks on just to, as a reminder to myself more than anything, of who's being attacked. So I think he'll attack them, they'll attack them, and he'll attack over there. All right. So let's start with the artillery over here. All right, because they can defensive fire, and there are 7. They get doubled because they are within 1 hex. So they're going to be 14. All right, so let's see what they got. 6 on 14 is going to be 1 hit and Morale check is good because they're a 1. So branch takes a hit. They go down to 17. You can see it takes a lot to reduce them on there, but it does give them points, which is kind of interesting. So now we do the reverse. We've got 17, and they're in woods, so that's going to be -2. So they roll a 6 and a 0. So 17, 6 is a 1 hit. So that's one more casualty. So they go down to a 6. And then they roll a 0 for their morale. Now their morale is black, which is 7. The leader's there, which makes 8, but they rolled a 10, so they're going to have to retreat. Now this is a little bad because they're artillery, because they've got to flip over, and that's going to force another automatic step loss. So that puts them at another loss, and now they've got to retreat 2 hexes. They'll go 1, 2, I think. Alright, now he can advance. I think he's going to. So we're going to try to trap Griffin over here. Okay. We'll move up to... let's move over to Greg and Butterfield. So Butterfield's going to fire here. He's going to be at a 14 with no modifiers. Oh, he rolls a 1, which is absolutely nothing. He missed. And then Greg is 17. No modifiers. He rolls a 1. It's 17 and missed. Alright, so there's no effect over there. They're stuck in combat. Alright, so now we'll go with the big one over here with Field and Hill's units. Hill stack. Pender. That's what we want. Attacking Martindale. So Martindale is going to shoot at Field, I think, because he's in the open. So that's going to be 18 with no modifiers. Rolls a 1, he misses. Now, both of these are firing back, so I'll combine them. That's going to be 31. This is going to hurt a little bit. And they roll a 4 on a 31 is going to be a 1 hit. But he passes retreat, so he doesn't have to move. So really, these guys are just skirmishing a little bit at 5 a.m. So that's 1 hit and 1 more casualty for the Union. All right. And that's it. And that's everything for AP Hill. So now moving along. You can see this plays pretty quick. There's a few other little minor changes that when they come up I will show you. Biggest thing is the chit draw. DH Hill is next. So we're going to come over here to DH Hill. I think we'll drop him right there. His artillery... could take a shot at... yeah, we'll take a shot at Farnsworth's cavalry over here. They're a 7. So if it does anything, they roll a 2, and that's a miss. So, okay, so he's fired. He won't be moving. So now we'll move up Hill's units. So he will come up to there. He'll come up to here. Yeah, he'll go right here to go after Farnsworth. And I can't get him there. Can I? No. I don't really want them there. I'll take him up to there. And we'll move him up to there, and both of these will go after Farnsworth. Alright, so we've got these guys set up for an attack. We've got these guys set up for an attack on him. Okay. So there we have it. So let's go up to Farnsworth here, because this is another little change that they made. Farnsworth, if you notice, is a cavalry unit. And the base rules, cavalry unit right there. The base rules on cavalry units basically just have them mounted, dismounted, and so forth. But one of the things I wanted was cavalry to be a little bit more effective in terms of screening. So what I have done is added a rule to say that if they are attacked, rather than doing a defensive fire on sorry, this guy over here, there we go. Rather than doing a defensive fire, they could actually do an automatic retreat with no effect. Of course, they have to be mounted, and it'll be an automatic win for the Confederates, and they can advance. Basically, it slows them down. So that's what I'm going to do. This will be an automatic retreat. So they'll go back 1, 2 to here, and the Confederates can automatically advance, a unit into the hex. So we'll do that. All right. So next, we're going to do this attack over here. Now, I can defensive fire with Buchanan over here against him and Griffin against him. We'll do Buchanan first. He's an 18 with a -2 for the woods. He rolls an 8. Goes down to a 6. It's probably going to be a 1. Yep, it's just a 1 hit. Excuse me. He rolled a 6. Sorry. -2 is on 18 is 4. It's still a 1 hit. Now they do have to take a morale check because they take the 1 hit. So let's see. Let's get them down to 1. So they're down to 19. Now D.H. Hill is with him. So his morale is going to go up to 8, and they rolled an 8, so they're okay. And so they just take the hit. Now Griffin is a 19 firing at them with no modifiers. Rolls a 4 and a 1. So he's a 19, 4, 1. That's a 1 hit as well. So he drops down to 14. And his morale roll was a 1. He's okay. Now Garland will fire back at 14. -2 for the woods. Rolls a 9 and a 7. This could be hurtful. 9 goes down to a 7 on the 14. It's just a 1 hit. So Griffin takes 1 hit. Goes down to 18. And takes another casualty. And his morale is a 7, and he rolls a 7, so he doesn't have to retreat. But if he did have to retreat, notice he's surrounded, so if he did have to go through here, he would actually take another step loss, because retreating through his zone of control subtracts 1. So he would go here, here, and then subtract 1 if he had to retreat, but he doesn't have to. So that's all the combat for D.H. Hill. And now we're moving on to Lee. Okay, that's all the artillery back here. He had his artillery on the move, which I think they will still do to some degree here. I think we'll send these guys 1, 2, 3, 4, and go 5, 6. And then we'll move Lee up 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll flip them over 5, 6. Now we've got two more back here. Sorry, I should have tilted this down a little bit so you could see where they were. They're all kind of right around here, and they're going to go 1, 2, 2.5, 3. 4 and on the limber. Yeah. No, we'll keep them 4, 5 up to there. And these guys go 1, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. there. Okay. So they're just artillery, so there's no attacking at this moment. So they're just going to be there. So next is going to be McCall. McCall is these guys over here in this general vicinity. Tilt you up a little bit. Right over in this area here. As well as there's some back. Meade is back here as well. So I got to be a little careful here. And actually, let me zoom out. This is one thing to show you. There we go. I got Meade back here, and McCall's main units are up here. So I've got to be a little bit careful in terms of what I want to do. But I don't think these guys are going to maneuver with anybody. So I think I'll place them back here with them, and I'm gonna put Meade up here. 1, 2. There's no artillery fire because his artillery is right here. We're about to unlimber though. I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna have them go up here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. And have them go like that. And then back here, I'm gonna have Seymour. Got Seymour and Reynolds. They're gonna fall back. They're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he'll go 2. Oh, wait a minute. Shoot, that should have been 2, 4, 5, 6. So they come back to there. And I think with Reynolds, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a half there. And then we've got Farnsworth, which I think I'll just leave him right there as well. He's good for delaying, as we saw on the previous chip pull. Okay, so that's all of Meade. So you can see with doing this, it becomes a little bit more, there's a little bit more maneuver, I feel, by doing this kind of chip draw, as well as make it a little easier solo. Next one's Longstreet. So here we get into a little attack. Longstreet's going to need to keep pushing. Now it's just Sykes back. So what we're going to do here, take a look at our artillery. They are limbered up, so there's no artillery shooting, so it's going to be just moving. I think we're going to just have him come up to there. We'll have Pryor come into there. We'll have Pickett go, oops, 1, 2 there. Featherston will go 4, 5 to there. Here come to there. They cross the river, and the artillery will just move up to there. All right, so we'll get some attacks going here. These two will go after Warren. You can see that, can't you? Yep. So let me zoom you in a little bit so you can see the numbers and everything here. And then we'll take them going against Lovell. All right. Let's take Warren over here first. He is an 8. We'll take a shot at Featherston because Pickett, that gold number right there, that means he's a better morale. He's a 9 morale instead of a 7. So we're going against Featherston, which is 8. Hopefully for high numbers. Well, they roll a 7 and an 8. So on an 8, that's going to be a 1 hit. All right, so it takes a casualty. There we go. Takes an 8. That's 1 more hit. All right, and he rolls an 8, which means he fails his morale, so he's got to retreat 1, 2. That was pretty good. That drove them back. So it's not just Pickett attacking. He's a 23. No modifiers. He rolls a 9 and a 3. So 9 on a 23 is a... Okay, here's our first R result. Here's 23. He rolls a 9. It's a 2R. So it's 2 casualties. So he drops down to a 6. I don't think that's enough to... No, it's 5. But he routes. So now he's got to actually go 3 hexes. 1, 2, 3 backwards, and he gets a route marker. Alright, launch, and Pickett's going to advance. 1 hex. There we go. Alright, then we got Lovell over here. He's going to take a shot at Pryor. That's 17. No modifiers. Rolls an 8. 17 is 2 hits. Actually, I should have marked off those 2 back there. There we go. So he gets 2 hits. So he drops to a 12. Right. And his morale roll was a 2, so he is okay. Now we combined both of these units to go against Lovell. So he's at 16 plus 12 is a 28. With no modifiers. Oh, rolls a 1 and a 1. So 28 is going to be a morale test, and the morale roll is a 1, so Lovell is fine. Alright, so kind of that attack didn't go as Longstreet would wanted. Okay, but they're still pressing forward, and the Union is taking some damage. And we've got our last chit is going to be Sykes. So here's where it's going to get interesting. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, put him on here because I'm going to use him to hopefully recover him from the routed state next turn. So artillery is limbered, so he's not going to be firing, but we'll go straight to movement. He's going to flip over. Stay there. Warren is going to stay here. I do think we'll bring back Lovell now. So he goes 1 plus 1 for moving out of Zoke is 2. And then 3, 4, 5. And that gives us a line back over here. Alright, and then combat. Now we do have Buchanan over here, which I think they're going to take a shot back at D.H. Hill, or excuse me, G.B. Anderson. So we're going to have this against them. Now they can shoot back, and also they can shoot back. So 19 plus 18 is 37, but they're going to get a -2. So we're on the 33 chart with a -2. They roll a 7. With a -2 goes to a 5, which gets them 2 hits. So that drops into 16. 16. All right. Here we go. 16. And they got to do a morale check with they roll a 10. They are a 9, so they fail, so they got to retreat. We're going to go back 1, 2. So that didn't work out very well for the Union. All right, and that's it. That's all the chits that are out. So now we kind of do our recovery phase. We'll get rid of our fired markers first off. That's simple. And our out of command markers, which are just administrative stuff. And I think that's all of them, yes. Now we've got our routed units. So we have this guy over here. And did we have any more routed units? No, I don't think so. We just have this routed unit. Okay, so this was just Warren. I thought there was a routed unit here. No, I guess it was just Warren that routed on there. That's our artillery. Yeah, okay. So he's going to try to recover. Now he has to make a morale check, but he's got Warren, he's got Sykes there with him, so he's going to be an 8 or less to recover. Rolls a 7, so he's good. So the rout comes off, and that's done. And that's the end of the turn. So you can see, plays kind of the same as the base game. Slightly different, a little bit of changes with the activations using the headquarters as chits, cavalry, some minor modifications for the artillery and things like that. But everything else pretty much plays the same way. And I've played this out both ways and found that they're fairly equal. You know, obviously dice and movements of the times are going to randomize it every game that you play. But for the most part, I found just adding this chit activation style to this has made the play a little bit more fun, interesting for kind of a solo play of this. So hopefully you found this interesting, and you'll like this, and subscribe to the channel, continue to watch. Like I said, this was the 5 a.m. turn. I'm going to move on and do probably most of the morning turn and come back with another video around the lunchtime time frame, just to show you where we are with that and what the progress is, and then have another one for the afternoon and wrap up the game at that point. So hopefully you enjoy this. Please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.